Hello everyone. So, as most of you already know, Cyrex recently launched, or should I say, promoted a tier testing server in its website. Now, before I get into anything, I want to make something very clear. This is not meant to be a direct call out or hate towards Cyrex. In fact, I genuinely think the idea of making a new tier testing server was great. A fresh start, a more fair environment. That's something the community actually needed. But here's the problem. When you promote something publicly, especially to a large audience, and you say, we launched a tier testing server, we, you are just not promoting it, you are also taking responsibility for it. And that's exactly where things started going wrong. Now, you might be wondering what exactly is the issue. So, let's break it down step by step. First, the server itself. Biggest issue I noticed immediately was the staff team. There's an excessive number of staff members, like way more than actually needed. But despite that, there's almost zero professionalism. No proper coordination, no clear system, and most importantly, no real experience. It genuinely feels like people were just given the role without actually knowing how to handle them. And this doesn't just apply to the lower staff. This includes the founder as well, which is honestly just concerning. Because if the leadership itself isn't structured, how do you expect the server to be fair? Now, moving on to the website. I'm just going to be honest here. It is AI. I won't even say it feels like AI because it is AI. It is just there's no real effort put it in here. It is just pure AI slop. And when you are running something like a tier testing platform, your website is supposed to represent credibility. Right now, it just doesn't do that. Then comes the server itself. There are constant everyone pings for random side quests, events, and things that honestly don't even feel important. But at the same time, you have situations where someone is promoting their own YouTube channel using an everyone ping. And no action is taken. This is allowed. This is being allowed by the founders and the co-founders. Now, individually, that might not seem like a huge issue. But when you look at the bigger picture, it clearly shows how bias and inconsistency is there in the moderation. And that brings me to my personal experience. So I got tested in the server and I was given high tier 2 in whole, which is actually a very good tier. Now, whether you agree with that tier or not isn't that point. I was tested by a tier tester. Point is what happened after. People started disagreeing, which is fine. Disagreement is normal. But instead of handling it properly, I was forced to do a retest just to keep my tier on the website. And that's where I had a problem. Because if your system is fair, your results should stand on their own. You shouldn't have to retest someone just because a few people don't like the outcome. So I obviously refused. And because of that, I got banned. Yeah, banned, just like that. Now, there was absolutely no fair handling done, just a single ban. Nothing was told to me, just one ban. Now, here's something even more interesting. I actually spoke to the person who, according to the website, is currently the best player in Bloxd. And this is what they said. Here, you can clearly say that they believe that peers are biased. They have reached a point where they have actually accepted the system and they will always be biased. They know that the peer will always be biased. And honestly, that's just a huge problem. That's just disappointing because that's not fixing the system. That's just giving up and living with a corrupted one. They also agreed that I should have not been forced into a retest in the first place. So this isn't just my opinion anymore. This is coming from someone at the very top as well. Now, after all this, I decided to reach out to Cyrex because he clearly said that if anyone is treated unfairly, they can DM him directly. And considering everything, I thought that was the right thing to do. And what happened? Nothing. No response, nothing. And this is coming from someone who has collaborated with him multiple times, someone who has known Cyrex for years, someone who actually trusted that things would be handled fairly by Cyrex. Which honestly makes this even more disappointing because if this is the kind of treatment I am getting, what kind of experience are others having? That's the real question. And again, I want to repeat, this is not me trying to hate on Cyrex, but I do think that this needs to be said. If you promote something to your audience, especially something that's supposed to be competitive, fair, and trustworthy, you have to take accountability for it. Because at the end of the day, your audience is trusting you. And right now, that trust is being mishandled. And as for the founders and staff of this server, I genuinely recommend you watching this video on the screen. That's it. Thank you for watching the video. Bye bye.